Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Just Breathe, the podcast for Black moms and mom adjacent women and and who else was I including?
We was including a lot of people. What's right here on your lip?
I don't know.
Wait, let me see.
I got it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like skin. Wow, that's great.
You was like, we just gonna include everybody today.
Everybody.
Come on in here.
All right, here we go. What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Just Breathe, the podcast for Black moms and mom adjacent women by Black moms and mom adjacent women. And today, my girl Jacinta and I are talking about therapy ain't taboo. Okay?
No, it ain't.
At all. So, as always, let's start with some stats because we always want to let y'all know that we know what we're talking about.
Okay.
We're not just out here making up stuff.
And
All right. So, according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, only one, this is a key, only 1 in 3 Black adults, so men and women, who need mental health care actually go get it.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that 2 of y'all in that group of 3 is out here just doing your own thing.
Yep.
Black women are half as likely to receive mental health treatment compared to white women.
Mm-hmm.
87% of Black mothers report experiencing high levels of stress, often tied to racial trauma, motherhood demands, and community pressures, and do nothing about it.
Yep.
And last but not least, definitely not least, suicide rates amongst Black youth, especially girls between the ages of 13 and 19, have doubled in the last decade.
Wow.
I want y'all to just answer this question for me. You can write it down in the comments below.
Wow.
Was mental health talked about in your house? And if it was, so 2-part question. Was mental health talked about in your house? And if it was, what was the conversation about? Yeah. Was therapy talked about? Was it like, yeah, no, that's for crazy people? Yeah. Was it, tell us what the situation was when it came to mental health in your particular house. Mm-hmm. What was it for you?
I don't know that we ever talked about that. People would say stuff like, they're a little off. Mm-hmm. Like that was the comment, and we're not trying to be disrespectful, but growing up, that was how they described someone when they didn't have the language that we have today. No. Like we didn't have this language then, that we have today, and so my family would just be like, they're a little off, or stay away from Uncle such and such, or there was never a like, no, they don't have the mental capacity, or, they need help. It was just always something, they're a little off, something is wrong, just don't be around them.
Yeah.
But I don't ever remember a conversation with either of my parents about therapy, about counseling. Yeah. And I grew up in church. So for us, counseling was prayer and possibly talking to the pastor. But for the most part, to seek professional help, I don't know that was something that we really talked about. And I want to go back to one of the first stats you read about 1 in 3.
Yeah.
And then the next one you read. I think a lot of that too has to do with healthcare as a whole, right? Us fighting to be heard.
Yeah.
Us saying, I know that something is not right, and someone actually saying, seek therapy, versus it being, you'll be fine, or ain't nothing wrong with you. It's all of those things kind of compiled together. So actually somebody saying you really need therapy, who told them that that's what you needed? You'll be okay. Yeah. Go drink some water.
That is true. I don't think that we ever used the word therapy in my house. I don't think we ever talked about it. I don't think the word like trauma, what's going on with you. No. Like, I don't think any of that was ever talked about. Yeah. And it wasn't until I was older that I realized like a lot of traumatic things were happening in my house. Like my dad was an alcoholic, like a full alcoholic, like full on. He went to AA. He went away to like some kind of, I don't know if it was a treatment facility. Yeah. I don't know where he went, but I know that my dad was home one day and then he wasn't. Yeah. For like a couple weeks, and I was told that my dad went on vacation, and I remember being offended because he left us at home.
Cause how you gonna go away?
How you go on vacation and we gotta stay here
with the ratchet, and we gotta stay
do you hear me? And I think I was being nosy because I'm the youngest. I'm a little nosy, y'all. Yeah. And I remember finding a booklet from it was like Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, what is this?
Yep.
And my sister was like, oh, Dad went to this camp or wherever he went. And I think that is but we never talked about it. We never discussed it. We never talked about it. I just knew my dad slept a lot. I knew that he had some bouts of anger. I knew that he had a cup that I couldn't drink out of. But it was never discussed. I don't think that the word therapy, I don't think I heard the word therapy and knew that I had access to something called therapy until my children were born.
Yeah.
So we're talking about me in my late 20s, early 30s, that I knew that therapy was a thing.
Existed, right?
Yes.
I think we grew up, and you said it earlier, we grew up in the time of therapy is for crazy people.
Yeah.
Like, and what is crazy though?
Yeah.
Like, what does that even look like, right? How does it sound? How does it feel? Like, what is it? I'm going to tell you what I do remember, though. I remember people talking about people having nervous breakdowns.
Yes, a nervous breakdown. Yes.
A nervous breakdown
yes.
was what... Mercy. That was all we heard. Like, today in this moment, that's the only word that I can equate to something that had to do with mental health.
Yes.
And even then, it was just like, well, what's wrong with mama? You know, like, and again, was it a nervous breakdown? Was it stress? Like, what was it? And even then, it wasn't enough for them to feel like you still needed to go talk to somebody. That was put them in the crazy house.
Yeah.
Or in the mental institution, right? We knew about the mental institution or the Audi home back in the day.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, the Audi home.
The Audi home.
I remember the Audi home.
That's where they put crazy kids.
Yeah, that's
was
true.
The Audi home. So
and we got threatened with that.
You got threatened. I'm gonna send you to the Audi home.
I remember that.
Right, like, so it's like, for us, I don't think that we had the words. It was like, mama had a nervous breakdown. Okay, well, what does that mean? Or they went to the Audi home. Okay, why? Like, I thought that was for bad kids.
I did
right?
too.
Like that's where the bad kids go. They cutting up in school. They not listening to their parents, right? But what does that mean?
Yeah, that's true.
I am a proponent of therapy, and I've been in church all my life, and I've been in churches where we never talked about mental health, never talked about therapy, and I've been in churches where it was talked about, but it was talked about from the perspective of, you know, we don't need all these people, everybody going to therapy, you don't need it. And I was like, okay, at this point, I'm old enough to be like, nope, you need it. You need Jesus and a therapist.
You need both.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because, yes, God is sovereign. Yes, he can help you. And yes, he will. And he wants to help you. And sometimes that help comes through
a therapist.
Yep. And that's the part where we can't be so heavenly minded or like, that we don't stop to say, there is somebody that I need to talk to.
Yeah.
Because even in all of my prayer, I still don't have the tools, the language, or the understanding to even be able to apply those spiritual things, because I can't get it over here naturally in my mind. My mind cannot comprehend. So you're saying something, I'm getting emotionally stirred, but when I leave here, I don't know why that doesn't last for me. Yeah. Why do I leave church happy and get home and I'm back in a sunken place?
But I think even talking about depression, right?
Yeah.
Even in one of our other episodes, and y'all go back and check it out.
Check them out.
We talked about postpartum depression.
Yeah.
And Joy shared, we had a guest on Joy, and she said she had postpartum depression with all 4 of her children.
Yeah.
And she shared that she didn't realize what it was. And she went to her mother. Her mother had it.
Yep.
And her grandmother
had it. Yep.
But because nobody talked about it, and because that wasn't a thing, she didn't know that treatment was available to her.
Yeah.
And I think that now the thing with this generation of children is that therapy is normalized.
It's normalized.
They're okay with going to therapy.
Yeah.
They're okay taking medications
Yeah.
if they need it for therapy. My daughter puts her therapy appointments on the calendar and
hey.
could care less. She'll be like, no, I can't go. I have therapy.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I got therapy.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about it. It's not a quiet thing.
No.
It is something that is normalized because we recognize now that therapy is something that is going to keep us from, for a lot of people, hurting themselves hurting others or just continuing to live in anguish, right? I think it's almost
or
like
having or even living with bad habits
or bad habits.
Right.
But you know, I think where therapy is normalized, it's like if you go to couples therapy, that's all right. Right, because even before you get married, it's like, well, go do
premarital
counseling, and that's acceptable, right? So everybody got to go to premarital counseling. You can go sit down and talk to the pastor or this group of people.
When you get married, Mercy,
if you go to couples therapy when you're married, there's something wrong, right? That's when you need it. But it's not seen as a maintenance tool.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's not seen as a maintenance tool. It is seen as like, now the car is broken. So and it's falling apart. So, we done left all the wheels. We don't have a steering wheel. Now we got to go to therapy instead of if you were going to therapy regularly, just like you get an oil change, just like you go get an annual exam, just like you don't just go to the dentist when something is wrong.
No.
Hopefully y'all not going to the dentist when something is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just go to the dentist, people. Please. Get your teeth checked out, okay? Get your all of this checked out.
Drop in the comments who your dentist is, because somebody may be looking for a new one.
looking for a new dentist.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So think about it like that, going to therapy. I look at therapy like I go to the dentist. It's a part of my regular, if I'm getting an annual exam, if I'm getting a pap smear, if I'm getting a mammogram, if I'm going to get my glasses, guess what? I have a therapist. You should have these people on deck. Like what do you think the shift was between our generation, we Gen Xers, shout out. You Gen X, put Gen X in the comments. Gen X, okay? Put it in there. Gen X. Put it down there, Gen X. Come through, Gen X.
Come through.
What do you think the biggest difference is between our generation and this new generation of kids that just like therapy is regular?
I think exposure.
Yeah.
I think that we have social media now, right? We have so many different avenues of information. So the information is overloaded for our children. Whereas information for us, if you didn't find it at the library, it didn't exist, right? Or if you didn't have a person in your circle that had experienced this, you didn't know. So I think that it's exposure. I think our children know more. I think that the older we got, we learned more. Like, we went into different work settings.
Yeah.
We built different relationships with different people, different cultures. We became friends with different people, different cultures. And we realized, like, oh, y'all don't do that? Oh, that's not normal? Oh, you got a psychologist? You go to a psychologist? Or like, oh, you do what? Like, it was exposure. And I think that that's good for us is because our parents probably were not exposed to that.
Oh, for sure.
Their community did not consist of people that were in those settings.
Yeah.
That were had those type of professions. And so they didn't know. So what you do is you leaned on your community heavily to help you. There's some give and takes there, right? We had community, which was probably better because that's all you had.
That's true.
Now we have exposure and things that we can do. So I think that that's what it is. I think that's a big. I think I want to say something too to what you talked about. I think that therapy should be proactive versus reactive.
Yeah.
Because once you've gotten to the point where you're reacting, it's probably too late. I'm not going to say it's always too late, but you've dug a real big hole by the time you get there being reactive versus being proactive. And I think that you used a word that we should consider: maintenance.
Yeah, it's maintenance.
Therapy is not always because something is wrong.
Yeah.
It's not always because something is wrong. You go to therapy so that things don't become wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because sometimes for me, I just need an objective person to talk to. Right? I need somebody who can hear me, not necessarily agree with me, because I'm a firm believer that just because I go to therapy or even talk to someone, I'm not talking to you just so that you can agree with me.
Right.
I'm coming to therapy so that you can help me see what I'm missing. My therapist should be the person that fills in the gaps in my thinking, the gaps in my emotions, like, and I did it. And they like, pause. Why you flip out like that?
Yeah.
Or, like when Amanda was younger, when I realized that they had counseling at her school, I signed her up immediately. Not because something was wrong with her, but because I was like, it's a service that is available. It is available with the school. It is a counselor that I feel like she'd respond to. I'm signing her up. And she went to counseling.
Yeah, I think more parents and just Black women in general, I think it goes back to what we keep talking about, this idea that we have to be strong. And I think that us holding on to this narrative that somehow if I admit that I need help, whether it be just having to come and talk to somebody or whether it be I really need some medication to help my racing thoughts or heck, I need medication to help me sleep because my brain is wired or whatever the case is, then somehow that makes us weak. And I think that until we uncouple this idea that asking for help or admitting that we can't or admitting that right now we're tired or admitting right now, like we talked about, that I'm running on fumes, that equals strength. Being able to be vulnerable enough to say that is being strong. Like being able
I try to tell people that all the time.
It takes a strong person to be admit, vulnerable. Vulnerability is seen as a weakness.
It is not
at all, especially for Black men. And I know we talk about, for women, but especially for Black men, this idea that vulnerability means that I'm letting down my guard and somebody can get in to hurt me. Instead of recognizing that vulnerability it requires a strong person to be able to say, in this moment, I need fill in the blank.
Correct.
And whatever it is, that could be rest, whatever it is. And a therapist, I think, can help you be able to unpack that idea and be able to do that.
Yeah.
What do you think for our moms, like our mom adjacent women who are raising children that are not theirs, what do you think the best bit of advice, because they're not necessarily biological moms, but if they are in need of help, what do you think the steps should be for them to be able to seek therapy or care for their mental health? Are there any suggestions that you would give?
For me, and I'm going to talk about me, is that you have to recognize that there's a problem.
Yeah.
Right? If you keep bumping into the same wall and you're not making headway and the wall is not coming down, you got to say, hey, I recognize that this is an area that I cannot fix on my own, right? It's okay. We are strong just because we are.
Yeah.
Right? We're not telling you not to be strong, and we're not saying being a strong woman is a bad thing.
Yeah.
What we're saying is wearing it as a badge of honor to the point that you are
causing harm or detriment
to yourself. Yeah. That's where it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And I think that it's that realization that I am hitting a roadblock in my life and I can't fix it, and the people around me are not capable of helping me to fix it, right? So recognizing that there's a problem, I think, is number one. Number two, seeking help. Listen, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, you have Google, you have so many different resources. Just type in therapist in my area.
Yeah. Or black therapists, or woman therapists,
or women therapists, or Christian therapists, or right? Like, I always say the things that we have been taught are weaknesses, I'm learning are actually strengths.
Oh, for sure.
Being able to say, I'm not okay. I need help. I need somebody to talk to. That is a strength. So recognizing that you have a place that you can't get past by yourself, and then saying, who do I need to help me? If it could be, hey, I have an issue with my finances, right? And if finances are a heavy weight for you, that can be traumatic. Your mind. Have you ever seen somebody stressing over money?
Yeah.
Like,
that's a big
one. Yeah. And so recognizing that you may need multiple therapists. I need a financial counselor.
Yeah.
And then I need a therapist to unpack why I spend money the way I do.
Yeah, that's real.
Right? Because I can go to somebody who can give me the 1, 2, 3 steps on how to budget, how to blah, blah, blah. But if I don't deal with, I was never taught how to deal with money, or I was poor growing up. Yeah. And so the minute that somebody gave me $1,000, I was like, I'm rich. So now I don't know how to keep my money because I've never had it. So then I need to dig deeper into you know what I'm saying? So you may have multiple, baby, you may have about 3-4 people that you need to talk to.
But that's real. Just like you got a dentist and a doctor.
You got a dentist and a doctor, because every area of your life may require a different type of conversation.
Yeah.
And a therapist that's talking to me about, that's why you have child therapists. This is why you have therapists that are in schools, because they deal with school-age children, or they deal with that environment. Then you have couples counselors. Then you have counselors that only talk to women. Then you have family counselors. Why? Because every area of your life may need a different conversation.
And I think you also need to make sure that you're getting the right type of therapist.
Right type of therapist.
There's talk therapy.
Yep.
Which I've done talk therapy. But then you also might have a therapist that does parts work, because that might be something that you might want to talk. And some people call it shadow work, or some people call it dealing with your younger child, or whatever it is. That's important. You have therapists that deal with like traumatic things that have happened to you in your past, and you might need to do EMDR, which is light therapy, which it trains your brain to disassociate the traumatic thing with the actual incident, and kind of reforms your synapses in your brain to think about things differently. You might need a psychiatrist who can prescribe you some medication. You just need to figure out what it is that you actually need. And I would say a starting point should be your doctor. If you talk to your doctor,
you have a doctor,
and talk to your doctor and say like, hey, I have this particular thing, this thought will not go away. What type of therapist would you recommend? Do you have one? I just think that's so important. And I know that for a lot of us, trying to understand when we are having a mental health crisis is also something that is so important. I think just in terms of advice, like one of the biggest things for me when I'm going through something different is I have this, and it's not a superpower. It is, and it's not. I disassociate so quickly. I can be in a room full of people and have no idea what is happening. I don't hear a single conversation. I do not remember what it is. I can be, because I'm going through something that is difficult for me. People are like, Nikki, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm good. But then I have to stop and say, have I completely disassociated? Like in this moment, am I, and I'm not a doctor or therapist, but what I understand the feeling to feel like is that I am in the moment, but I am above the moment, or I am beneath the moment. I am not present.
It's like in Get Out,
in this moment.
When he's sunk, he can see himself, but he couldn't get back to himself.
Back to yourself. And you have gone through something traumatic, or there is just so much, whether it be financial pressure or marital pressure or whatever it is that you might be going through, that it has caused you to numb yourself or block yourself off from your emotions. That is the first sign for me that I know that I need to go sit down with somebody and say, how do I put myself back together? Because I don't want to keep not feeling and what it is that I need to feel.
And then fall completely apart.
Or you just numb yourself, and now you're just walking through the world coping, and you're not thriving, you're not healing. You're not healing. Nope. You just are here. So I think that those are some things that I would say for me would be like, hey sis, like figure out what's going on in your body. I agree with like, hey, figure out what it is. Your body. Like, where is it in your body that you are feeling? Body. Absolutely, that you're feeling what you're feeling. Sit with yourself and accept the fact that I am not okay.
I'm not okay. I want to say this too.
I am not okay.
You talked about talking to your doctor. Let me help y'all understand something, okay? I just had to fill out medical forms for my daughter. Actually, I didn't fill them out. You'd be very proud of me. I gave her the forms, and she actually filled them out herself, okay? Kudos to me. I'm getting better. Now, let me just say this. When I went and read over the form, though,
She still had to read the form first. Her daughter's grown. I just want to point that out. She's grown.
She's 18. So listen. So when I read over the form, though, you know, there's a portion of the form that asks you questions like, in the last 6 months, have you felt like? All right. Hey, this me. When you get to those questions, if you know that's you, don't check no. Say yes. Because this is your door to actually getting the help that you need. Be honest on those forms. We like to check no because we be like, they about to have me doing all kind of testing and we know what's coming. But here's the thing. Even if they just stop and have a conversation with you in that moment to assess what's going on, they may be able to tell you, hey, let me check your thyroid. Or let me check your right.
Your vitamin D.
Your vitamin D. It could actually be something that's happening in your body medically that they need to check. But it could be something more serious where they actually can refer you to
a therapist.
A therapist. All right. So I want you guys to be honest.
Yeah.
Let me go back to my recommendation. Be honest.
Period. Full stop.
Full stop. Be honest.
That's true.
Stop saying I'm okay.
Yeah.
Because the reality is that there are moments where we are not okay.
Yeah.
And I had a sister who told me this years ago because I would say things like, I'm fine. God is working on me. Because I knew in that environment that me throwing God in there would make them think that it was all spiritual. God is just working on me. God was looking at me like, girl.
Call the therapist.
Call the therapist.
Call the therapist.
Stop. He was like, you are going down a deep dark hole. You on your way out here. And I was like, God is working on me, right? And I remember the moment standing in the church bathroom. She looked at me and she said, I cannot be this type of sister to you where you lie to me when you're not okay. What I'd rather you say to me is, I'm not okay. I don't know what it is. And I don't want to talk about it right now.
Yeah. I think that's some great advice.
And it was because at that moment I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to lose my sister. Like, she's been my sister since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
So hearing that in my early 20s was like, I'm about to lose somebody who has been a pillar in my life.
Yeah.
But to hear her in that moment say to me, I cannot continue.
Can't condone that.
I cannot in this space. In our lives, if you want to lie, I can't be that sister to you. And so in that moment, what she taught me was to be honest.
That's key, I think, in all of this. And as we wrap it up, y'all, I know this is a good conversation.
It's so good.
As we wrap it up, if I could say anything to you, sis, it would be echoing what Jacinta said, is be honest.
Yeah.
And not only be honest with other people around you, but be honest with yourself.
Yep.
I also want to say that we have to start unlearning some of the habits that no longer serve us, right? This is not slavery. This is not our parents' generation. Yeah. We are in a space where it is okay to say that you are not okay. And this is not to say that there are not some places of mental health that have taken advantage of people, because there's absolutely some crooked places out there. Yeah. But find a good therapist. Yeah. Do your research. Don't just check reviews. Make some calls. Find out what people are saying about those therapists, because sometimes they lie on those reviews. Yeah. And then date your therapist.
Absolutely.
Go to the therapist and say, hey, let's get a session together. Feel it out. If this doesn't work for you, then find another one.
Move on.
And then keep going to a different therapist until you find something that fits you.
Yeah.
And then definitely, for sure, sis, like getting yourself a good community where you have somebody that, like Jacinta was saying, is going to hold you accountable. And that is going to push you to be a better version of you. Yeah. Because as much as we believe that we are going to be able to save our children and help our children, we can't if we're not okay. Definitely that old airline, like, hey, put your face mask on first before you assist others. Correct. All right. So sis, I want to make sure that you're putting your face mask on today, and that you are breathing in that clear oxygen. If that means seeing a therapist, see a therapist. But we want you to be all right. And it's okay not to be all right. All right. So shout out to y'all, and definitely keep breathing. Have a great rest of your day.